So I saw a few comments recently, and a few guys were saying, oh, if you know so much about strength training, how come you haven't PR'd in like the past year or something? And it's a fair question. So I'm going to explain my short kind of break from strength training, and then I'm actually going to head to the gym for a late night session. It's like 10:39 p.m. here in London. Going to head to the gym. I'll walk you through my whole push day. I'll show you exactly how I train chest, shoulders, and triceps on this push-pull leg split that I'm doing. Give you some tips and tricks to improve your training. So why have I not PR'd in a while? Basically in 2024, so I think it was around April or March, if I remember off the top of my head, I got to my strongest. So that was the strongest I ever been. I got to a 247.5 kilo squat, which is 545 pounds, 160 kilos bench press, which is 352 pounds, 300 kilo deadlift, which is 661 pounds. This was the strongest I'd ever been. I was prepping for a powerlifting competition. I was coached by Sean Noriega, professional powerlifter, and I was loving powerlifting. I weighed about 97 kilos, which is like 217 pounds, something like that. I was the biggest, the strongest I'd ever been in my life, and things were going great. I was really enjoying the training. And up to that competition, basically, I tweaked my back a few times. Now, over my years of training, I've had a history of tweaking my back for whatever reason. I don't know why. Maybe because I was a jackass for years and I pushed my deadlifts insanely hard. I just naturally, my personality, I like to train really hard. That's probably why I push a lot of you guys now to stay a bit more sub-maximal. And I basically picked up a few back injuries. And leading up to this competition, my deadlift felt insane. Like every single week I was pulling a minimum of like 250 kilos, like every single week. I was starting blocks on week one, like around 250. Even like just before competition, I pulled 290 kilos for like a single at like RPE 7 to 8, and my estimated 1 rep max was getting close to 700 pounds, which is 317.5 kilos. So I felt really strong. I was going in on my secondary deadlift days and I was pulling like 250 for fun, 250 kilos. I pulled 260 kilos for almost 5 reps just before the comp. And basically, yeah, over about 3 weeks just before the comp, I tweaked my back like 3 or 4 weeks in a row, and each tweak was a little bit worse than the last. The first one was just like a minor tweak. The second one hurt quite a lot. I couldn't get out of bed for a couple of days. Then the third one kind of fucked me up a little bit, and I couldn't walk for like almost a day. I was walking with a limp for a couple of days. And then the week of competition came, and basically my squats went great. I squatted like 235 kilos for my last squat. I benched 155 kilos for a single at 8. And my deadlift, I was scheduled to do 260 kilos for 5 reps, which would have been a PR on my secondary day. And I went in and I was warming up, got up to 260. I think I pulled 2 reps. It moved so easy. I probably got a video somewhere. And then I tweaked my back, and I knew this one was pretty bad. And I straight away, I said to my mate who I was training with, like, this one's gonna fuck me up tomorrow. And woke up, and yeah, it was pretty bad. I couldn't put my socks on. I couldn't walk very well again. But I was competing in like 2 days. I was 2 days out at this point. I think I did it on the Thursday, competed on the Saturday. So the Saturday came, the competition is there. I went to compete with a friend of mine who I train with. And even on the day of the competition, like, my back was bad. I was walking with a limp. I had a video where I was trying to do like a bodyweight Romanian deadlift at home, and I couldn't even touch my toes.
I'll go as far down as I can. And I'll see how deadlift's going.
And yeah, it was pretty bad. So me being me, I said, fuck it. I took some pain meds. I took a bunch of caffeine. I had some Monsters. I think that day I took like almost a gram of caffeine. I was literally like jittery, and I was so full of energy. Went to the competition. I weighed in at like 96 kilos, I think. Me and my mate, we went for a walk before the competition because my back was fucked. Like I couldn't walk properly. I was limping like before the competition. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't have competed, but fuck it, I wanted to PR. So I went and I did my squats. Squats went amazing. I opened 220 kilos, 5 plates, went 235, and then I hit 247.5 kilos for my third, which was like it was a PR by like 12.5 kilos. Then I went and bench pressed. Bench went insane. I benched 160 kilos on my third, and I felt like I had about 5 kilos in the tank. I could have hit 165. Then deadlifts came, and when I was warming up for deadlifts, keep in mind, my last deadlift off this prep was 290 kilos for a single at like RPE 8. So I was going in with the momentum to pull probably like 315 kilos. I think my third programmed attempt was like 310 with room to go up. But as soon as I started warming up for deadlifts in the warm-up room, I just knew it wasn't there. Like, I even got to about 220 and already my hamstrings were trembling. My lower back was hurting a little bit because I just maxed out on a squat as well. But I went out, I tried to do it anyway. I opened at 270 kilos, I believe. Then I jumped up to 285. No, I opened 275 kilos. Then I went 290 kilos. I pulled the 290, it was slow, it was terrible. Then I loaded up 300 kilos anyway because I wanted to round out, like, I think it would have been like a 700 kilo total. And yeah, that rep, it fucked my back up bad. I tried to pull 300. As soon as it left the floor, I felt my back just go. And that's some of the worst back pain I ever had in my life. Afterwards, it was like 8 out of 10 pain. I knew something was up. That evening when I got home, I have a video. I'm not going to share it here. It's a bit of a weird video. But I was on my sofa. I set the camera up to record how bad it was. For the first time in my life, I physically could not stand up off the sofa. Like, I needed to take a piss. I couldn't get off the sofa. I had to eventually, it took me about 15 minutes on the video to go from a lead down to a seated position, because every time I moved, I got a mad, like, sharp shooting pain in my back all the way up my spine. Eventually I got to the toilet and I had to grab like the handle of a broom to allow me to walk around, but it was pretty bad. Like, I couldn't walk for days. I actually went on a trip to Italy with one of my friends the next day. I don't know how I managed to get there, but it was pretty bad. Like, we were having breakfast. I couldn't even sit down at the breakfast table to eat, because if I sat down, I'd get like a 10 out of 10 shooting pain up my spine. Imagine I'm sat there eating and every 5 seconds I'm like this, like jumping and getting a shooting pain in my back. But yeah, I didn't panic. I just rehabbed it with my coach. I did some rehab type movements. I eased back into training, but I couldn't deadlift from the floor for a good like 3 months. I gradually built back into it. Obviously I lost some strength because of that, because this injury lasted like 6 months. So my strength dropped down a lot. Then in January of this year, I rebuilt. My squat got back to its best. I squatted like 227.5 kilos for a triple. I bench pressed 150 for doubles on secondary days multiple times. I was getting close to 170, but I wasn't enjoying the training at all. I couldn't really deadlift heavy. I always had a bit of anxiety in the back of my mind, and I just lost the love for powerlifting for a bit. Didn't feel like myself in the gym, and it even got to a point where I was feeling quite depressed outside of the gym. I didn't even want to go train, and it got to a point where I couldn't even finish a full training block. And I've trained for 10 years and I missed like 0 sessions across that time, but I just didn't even want to go to the gym. So I was like, something needs to change. There's no point dragging myself there. I'm not getting paid for my powerlifting total. I'm not an exceptional powerlifter. I'm decently strong on squat, bench, deadlift, but I'm nothing insane, nothing noteworthy. So I switched to a bodybuilding block for a little bit, and I've been doing push-pull legs for the past probably like 3 months. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. I want to focus on enjoying my training again, building my physique, because I've never really focused on bodybuilding training. So it'll be interesting to see how I look. I'm doing a cut. I'm going to cut down to like 10 to 12% body fat. Been cutting for about 3 or 4 weeks. So it'll last about 12 weeks in total. After the 12 weeks, that's when I'm probably going to go back into a strength block. And then I'll start documenting with you my return back to my best numbers. And I'll try and get back to 260 kilo squat, 170 kilo bench, and a 317.5 kilo deadlift, 700 pounds. So that's when you'll start seeing SBD sessions and stuff like that. So stay tuned for those kind of videos. But yeah, right now, I've been talking for way too long, but I wanted to update you guys on the situation, let you know why I've not been really powerlifting. And I'm going to get this Red Bull down. I might have a snack as well, get some carbs in me. And then we're going to go do a push day. I'll walk you through the push day. I'll show you why I set my training up this way, because I know a lot of you like this bodybuilding style training. So I'll give you some tips on how to maximize muscle growth, how to arrange a split for hypertrophy, and yeah, walk you through why I'm doing the things I'm doing. So I'll probably catch you in the gym. This is the best part about the gym. getting some music on, getting a... Bro, what's going on? Drake interrupted me. This is the best part about training. Getting a fuck ton of caffeine down you. It's like 11 p.m. right now. Usually I would do an energy drink plus like a scoop or two of this because I just love caffeine. But the best part is the part before, getting hyped with the music. I used to love training with my mate just before I moved to London. You'd have the same ritual every time before the gym. We would take a shit ton of caffeine, we'd play music in his car. And I think a big reason why a lot of you don't enjoy the gym that much or you don't get to your strength goals is because you don't have enough passion around your training. You're just pulling up to the gym, you don't know what numbers you're hitting, you're low energy, you don't really feel like being there and training. Like, have some kind of ritual, some kind of enjoyment around your training. Like, before I even go to lift, always I've got some music playing, I'm taking caffeine, I make sure I've eaten well, I know exactly what I'm gonna hit. Like, before I even walk in the gym, and this is true especially when I'm doing powerlifting training, I know all day what numbers I'm supposed to hit. Like, if I squatted 200 kilos last week for a double, I've got 210 in my mind all day. I'm nervous about it. Like, I'm anticipating it all day. I'm picturing how the bar is going to feel on my back and stuff like that. And I think you need that level of like passion about your training if you really want to go far and you want to hit crazy numbers. Like, you can't just be pulling up to the gym with a water bottle, no numbers in mind. Just, I don't think that's going to get you to any exceptional levels of strength goals. And if you watch this channel and you care enough about your training to watch these videos and stuff like that, I think take your pre-gym routine a bit more seriously. Like, train with some friends. If you're struggling with motivation for the gym, I'm willing to bet that's the first thing I would look at. Get around some mates who are stronger than you. Get in a better gym. Take some more caffeine. Maybe not as much as me, but take some more. Get some good music playing and you'll enjoy your training a whole lot more than you currently do. So I'm going to go in there for a push day right now. I'm going to piss my neighbors off and then go lift something heavy. By far the worst part about this change to a more bodybuilding focused approach for a little bit is because I'm cutting, my pre-workout meal is going to be some poverty rice cakes. I think like 2 or 3 of these with almond butter or something like that. And I'm not used to this whole like cutting deficit, worrying about physique type thing, because for 6 or 7 years, I was just powerlifting and my focus was hit protein, eat as many calories as possible, get as heavy as I can. But right now, like, I think I can learn something from bodybuilders, and I think we all can with the strength training, that we probably should train and eat more like bodybuilders, like if we want to actually have a good looking physique, because I want to be strong whilst actually looking jacked as well. So I'm going to force myself to eat this. So literally pre-workout is going to be like 2 or 3 of these. I'll put some almond butter or honey or something on top. Like I said, I've been cutting for like 3-4 weeks. I'm 90 kilos right now, which is about 200 pounds. Getting a little bit leaner. This lighting's terrible, so let me not embarrass myself right here. But yeah, a couple of these rice cakes, and then I think that leaves me with like 50 grams of protein for the day, a few carbs, a little bit of fat. So I'll probably have some steak or minced beef with sourdough bread or rice and some like salad, veg type of stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna have 2 or 3 of these and then I'm gonna go lift. Like, what kind of pre-workout meal is this? 3 rice cakes with some dry ass almond butter that looks like sand. I feel like one of these Instagram glute girls who's showing the full day of eating before her 10-minute ab scorcher or something. But yeah, I'm gonna get this down. I basically just wanted a few carbs before I go train because I feel flat and hungry. So this is what I'll usually have when I'm cutting. And then there's no way I can do this one-handed. I'll just add some salt, have some water. Maybe I'll take the pre-workout. I really shouldn't. Finish this, and yeah, I'll catch you in the gym. I took the pre-workout. So let me take you through my push day. This is my second push day of the week, push day B, and it starts out with this incline chest press machine. This is one of my favorite machines. So I position this first because I'm trying to bring up my upper chest. And as you can see, the way I'm pressing, I'm really focusing on shoulder flexion. So I want my arm to be moving in this path because obviously the clavicular head of the pec is responsible largely for shoulder flexion. So I'm really trying to focus on bringing the upper arm up and across the body. At lockout, I'm really trying to think about squeezing my elbows together. So at the contraction, you can see here, like a lot of guys will focus on pushing the hands together, But because the pec's job is to bring the humerus across the body, you want to think about bringing the elbows together. So you can see here, I'm pushing these really hard. We've got 2 ascending sets. One is taken to RPE 8, one is RPE 9. You can see here going for the final rep. This was more obviously like RPE 10 failure, but I like to push the bodybuilding stuff hard. So yeah, took that all the way to failure. Could not have done another rep. I think that was a PR at 3 plates on this machine. So we knock out 2 sets of that, and then we've got the same set and rep scheme on this dumbbell shoulder press. 2 sets of 8, they're ascending in RPE. I don't train these kind of movements very often, so remember, I'm a noob, I'm a beginner to a lot of these exercises. I haven't dumbbell shoulder pressed in years, so started out quite light. This is 36 kilos, which is like, maybe like 70-pound dumbbells, maybe 70, 75, something like that. That was my first set. Then I jumped into the 38s, which I think was a little bit of an overshoot, but again, I like to push the bodybuilding much harder. So yeah, I'm really focusing on a full range of motion here. A lot of guys half rep their dumbbell presses. They'll come down like to here, like a 90-degree angle at the arm. I come down until I touch the shoulders. I don't count it as a rep unless the dumbbell touches my shoulders. I'm fully locking out at the top. Probably don't need to, but I just do anyway. Again, push that set nice and hard. I'm going to try and get those up into the 40s. Then I move into this low to high cable fly. Again, I'm really trying to bring up my upper chest, and I think a lot of natural guys probably should do the same, because a lot of us are lacking like in the upper pecs. So with these, I just set up on an incline bench. I'm trying to focus again on shoulder flexion. So I'm trying to bring the arm up like this. You can almost think of it as like a fly front raise hybrid. And again, you can see I'm trying to touch my elbows together at the contraction. Don't think about touching the hands. Try and think about touching your biceps or your elbows together. So nice big stretch on the eccentric. These are one of my favorite fly variations. I do this on one day. And again, look at the intensity. Like, watch how hard these final reps are going to be. If I say RPE 9, it needs to be true like 1 rep in reserve. Like, look how slow that last rep is. It moved in like a 5-part motion even. This is how hard you need to be pushing your bodybuilding if you want to gain size. And I'm not the biggest guy. I don't train purely for bodybuilding or for hypertrophy. This push-pull legs block is very new for me. All my training's always been powerlifting, strength focused. So a lot of these movements are very new, and you can see I've got a lot of gains to make. But yeah, I really like this movement. I'm doing these on one day for 3 sets of 10 at RPE 9, so 1 rep in reserve. My other day, I just do a standard pec fly. But again, one of the big focuses for me in this block is I'm trying to bring up my upper chest, my side delts, neck, and traps. Those are kind of the areas I'm trying to bring up. Like, basically this whole section above my shoulders, because I think it makes you look more jacked as a natural guy, and they're just muscle groups that I naturally want to bring up. So yeah, I've been cutting for the past few weeks as well, about 4 weeks here, so you can see getting a little bit leaner. At my peak, I was 97 kilos or 217 pounds. I was pretty fat. Here now I'm about 90, 91 kilos. I would say I'm probably around 16, 17% body fat. I'm going to cut down to about 10 to 12%. But again, pushing these final reps really, really hard. I'm not thinking about the pump, the burn, the squeeze. I'm just thinking about how many reps do I have in the tank. I want to get very close to failure. I think I actually failed that last set. Then moved into a lateral raise machine. I don't love this machine, I'll be honest. It's a really awkward setup. Again, 3 sets of 10, RPE 9. I think I messed up the load selection on here. I overshot the first set, and then that led to me overshooting the second set and the third, and I just kind of fucked it up. But yeah, with these, you can see I'm like very loosely gripping the handles because I'm trying to focus on the movement all coming from the elbows. I don't want to be like squeezing a lot and using a lot of my forearm to move the weight. I'm just trying to have pure movement of the humerus, just involve my side delts. So yeah, with these, I probably could come up a little bit higher at the top, but like I said, I think I chose a weight that was a bit too heavy. Side delts are a big focus for me. Training them twice per week. I do 3 sets per day. One day is this lateral raise machine. The other day, I'm just doing a dumbbell lateral raise. And that kind of reminds me that a lot of guys with this bodybuilding stuff, I think they do way too much volume. Like a lot of my clients, new guys, they will sign up and they're like, how come we're not doing so many accessories? Like, how come there's only like 2 or 3 sets per movement? And I'm like, send me videos of your accessories first, because I guarantee the actual problem is your intensity, your effort. You're probably taking your sets nowhere near failure. You're leaving like 5 or 10 reps in the tank, And that's why you feel like you need 5, 6 sets. I'm only doing 2 or 3 sets per movement here. Look at the intensity. I'm getting to the point where the weight almost stops moving. I'm failing reps. The last push focus movement here is an overhead tricep extension. Again, 3 sets of 8, RPE 9. A lot of these I think I just took all the way to failure, to be honest. I like this movement, and personally I like to do one overhead type tricep movement, and then I do a single arm push down on my other day. Just for completeness, to train all heads of the triceps in different positions. Obviously, the tricep is a biarticular muscle. It crosses the shoulder and the elbow. So having it in this overhead position could be beneficial as well, just to cover all the bases. This movement I do like. It's a bit awkward to load though, because like you've got to twist the weight around to get into position. It's kind of bothering my wrists a little bit. So I might mess around with a skull crusher variation, or I might even do this like single arm maybe with a D handle or something like that. But I'm trying to focus on keeping the elbows slightly towards my sides. Mobility is not the best, so they are flared out a little bit, and then just pure movement through the elbow. You can see here, it did feel like I was pressing more up, like more vertical, but on video it doesn't look like that. But yeah, I'm trying to just have pure elbow flexion, really deep stretch at the bottom of the movement. And again, if you take one thing from this video, and one thing that's really helped me with my bodybuilding training, because for years I would come in and I would judge the effectiveness of my bodybuilding by, did I get a good pump? Did it burn? Did I sweat? Like, did I have the mind muscle connection, stuff like that? But I think by far the biggest progress I've made in the last few years is just focusing on performance. Did I lift more weight? Did I get more reps? Have I actually like beaten the logbook week to week? And that will give you a gauge of adaptations taking place. Like, are you able to lift more weight over time? If you are, the program is working. It doesn't matter if you get a pump, a burn. Those are secondary things that you should consider after progressive overload and actually adapting and getting stronger. If you're lifting the same weights that you were 3 or 4 years ago, it's unlikely you're going to be much bigger. So this is the final weak point that I'm trying to bring up, is my neck. I've been training my neck for the past just a couple months. I've gained about an inch on my neck already. All I do is 3 sets of 10 on plate neck flexion. I started out with like a 2.5 kilo plate. I'm now up to a 45 pound plate, 20 kilos. I do 3 sets of 10. I take these to an RPE 8. I don't like to push them all the way to failure, just because it doesn't feel that safe, if I'm honest, to push that hard. So I do leave a couple reps in the tank. Yeah, I do these twice a week, 3 sets of 10, sorry. And it is getting a bit awkward to load them now. So if anyone's got any tips on how to like load these up a bit heavier, you can see here, like on this set, I kind of messed up, because look how the plate is like vertical at the bottom, which means like a lot of that load is actually not on my neck, it's just in my hands. So I'm going to have to fix that for next time. But yeah, I've really enjoyed training neck, and hopefully you've taken some things from this session. You've taken some tips and tricks, and you can see why I've set things up in the way that I have. Apply this to your bodybuilding training. You can even apply it to your strength training as well to improve your squat, bench, and deadlift numbers. If you have any questions, post them in the comments section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you in the next video.